So my name is Keiti and I live in Estonia.
I would love to know, and I'm here talking to you, wanting to just hear your journey and why you decided to start this SmartBody SmartMind journey earlier this year in 2020.
Yeah, well, why I started this journey with you? Because for longest time I was looking for something. At that moment I didn't understand. It was like this missing link in my healing journey. But something that would actually access the, I would say, the stress response and stress responses that are inherited and, childhood ones.
Yes.
And also in general, I would say like how to release trauma, from your body. I felt like a part of me was missing myself all the time.
All the time.
All the time. And I would, walk around and see other people and places, and I never was there present. I couldn't relax and enjoy the way I actually wanted to, because my heart wanted to, my mind wanted to, but somehow my biology wasn't ready. It didn't feel safe enough.
I'm curious, how was this a feeling you had your whole life? That something wasn't safe? Was there something that, I know that our time right now in the world, there's just more people waking up to that, but how long had you had that sense?
Yeah, I think all my life.
Okay.
All my life, part of me is missing. Yeah.
Do you remember, even before you got into SmartBody, SmartMind, that kind of moment where it was like, this is important?
Okay. Yeah, when I heard your voice on YouTube, because your voice had such a big impact on the way I was. It just calmed me down, and in a way that, I knew it's safe. So I was like, wow, who is this person, and I need to know more. All through my life, I felt like some part of me was missing. And I would even say that I was living someone else's life. I had my own hopes and dreams and desires, but I never went for them. It was like, deer in the headlight. Further, but not exploring everything that's, there, right? And it made me really sad inside. So my grandmother comes to the picture like that. I was in a relationship, and there was a lot of arguments happening at that time. And I always felt like something bad is going to happen to me, because it was so unsafe to be myself in this relationship. And also it was not safe enough for me to express anger or disgust or aggression, anything
anger,
like that.
disgust, aggression, all those very high energy emotions.
Exactly.
Okay.
And of course, this always made me feel like there's something wrong with me. So in the relationship, I had also a feeling like my boyfriend is going to hurt me. Like something is going to happen to me, but he was not violent. He was a really pleasant, person to be around, but just, there was this thing that, alcohol. So when he was drinking, it really triggered me, and I didn't understand why. What's happening over here? Yes, my father had alcohol problem, but there was something more over there. That was my hunch. And then I remember having this one big argument with my boyfriend, and I literally said out the sentence, like, are you going to care for me or I will get cancer? And when I said this sentence, I literally froze. I was like, oh my God, whose words are these? Why am I saying this?
You said, say those words one more time, just so that we get that.
Yeah, I said that, are you going to care about me or I'm going to get cancer?
Or you're going to get, wow.
Yeah. So it's almost like, I need to be in such bad condition in a way that you would see that, oh, wow, you know, she needs me.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so, and also I think around that time, I started to hear the word cancer everywhere. And every time I heard the word, I literally also like froze up. Like I knew something bad is going to happen. And there was also one moment when I remember my boyfriend was touching one of my breasts. And I had this such an intense feeling inside of me, like this should have never happened. Like that's a big no-no, you cannot do that. So when the cancer diagnosis finally came, it was like, I would say 3 months later, really quickly, when I said the sentence. I wanted to know something about my grandmother. I just randomly asked my mom, so what's the story with my grandmother? Like no one ever told me anything about her. It was like a secret kept in the family. And she said that, well, she died of breast cancer. And I was like, well, what was her story? I need to know. So basically, I packed my bags. I went to this other city in Estonia where she lived, and she had some relatives over there still. So I wanted to find out what was her life, you know?
Yeah.
And then I understood that the thing that I was experiencing over here had much to do with her. Because she had a violent husband, and she was actually blaming the husband, that the husband, you know, gave her the cancer because the husband was being really violent with one of her breasts, the left breast.
Wow.
Yes, and the cancer was diagnosed in my left breast.
Left as well.
Yeah. And and there's more.
That must have been so interesting for you to uncover that with your own intuition, knowing that those were not your words coming out when you said that to your partner.
Yeah.
May I ask, so we're talking in 2020, it's October 2020. When did this diagnosis occur? When did you have this resurrection, if you will, of these histories?
Oh yeah, it was 3.5 years ago.
3.5, okay.
Yeah. So there's also a funny thing with the age. Me and my grandmother, when I was diagnosed, I was 29, and my grandmother was 29 when she died. So basically, and the gap is so interesting. I was 29 just 2 weeks before I got 30, and she died 29 2 weeks before she got 30. So I was diagnosed, and she was, you know, she died.
Wow. That's so young, isn't it? That's amazing. So you were in this other town, you found out this information, and then what happened for you?
So a part of me already knew that this cancer is not going to be, just healed with chemo, radiation, and, all the conventional treatments. Because when I was in the doctor's office and they told me that that's the diagnosis, I really strongly felt how my body, or something, I would even say like soul inside of me, said that, so, do you hear me now? Like, how much longer are you going to hurt yourself? Now you have this diagnosis that you kind of like almost like wanted to have. So what's now? Are you going to listen to me now and do something about your life? Are you going to change it?
Yeah.
And so I knew that I need to find out now everything there is, in the world, so I can, start healing myself. How everything is going to come together, I had no clue, because I can tell you for sure that was no easy journey I stepped on. Oh no.
Yeah. So tell me a bit. So obviously you're still here, so you're healthy and well.
Yeah.
What was kind of the version of 3 years ago till just before you started SmartBody SmartMind in terms of your health and healing?
Okay, so back then I knew that the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna focus on food. Healing my body with good nutrition. So But at the same time, I knew that I have to do like emotional and mental work with myself, because, that was like, something that I knew that, is going to be the biggest puzzle over here. Yeah. And through this emotional and mental work, I actually got to the nervous system.
Yes.
This is how I got there, because actually it was me and my mother together. We searched for all kinds of different doctors over here, therapists, healing modalities, what is there. We were working, but like, something was always missing. And why? Because I was in a survival mode all the time when I was doing all these things. Was I choosing? Was I don't know, maybe like doing some therapy work, or I was still surviving. Yeah. And this is where the nervous system kind of was a game changer.
Definitely. And I have one other curiosity, if you don't mind sharing. It sounds like you have a relationship with your current mother, and or at least 3 years ago you did. And a lot of times people will think that when we get sick to the degree that you were, and all of the freeze and the shutdown and the survival, that's always because of really severe childhood trauma, where we're not taken care of, we're abused.
Yeah.
I'm going to make an assumption. I feel like that might not have been your childhood, but can you give me a little idea of your upbringing? And I think you understand where I'm going with that.
Yeah. So, okay. I now remember this one thing with my grandmother.
Perfect.
It kind of like connects the dots here with my mom.
Perfect.
Before the grandmother got the cancer diagnosis, 2 years prior to that, she lost her mother. And, when I got the diagnosis, I don't know, but it's just something inside of me is telling me, I kind of wanted to go back to my mom. I wanted to, get close to her again, like, almost in a way that she would take care of me. Sometimes they say, why do you need this illness? Why do you need it?
Yeah.
And there's definitely a part, in me that needed it.
Yeah. When did you find out that you were free of the cancer in your breast?
Okay, so it took me a year of, healing myself. And then I went back to the doctors and I did all the possible like screenings out there that you can do. And everything was good. Everything was good. But of course, like, for them, it was like not such a big deal because, they still were thinking that, I haven't done the treatments. So, it might come back in like, 2 months, I should go there in every 2 months.
Right.
I just made like decision inside of myself that I'm not going to live my life, going to the doctor's office in every 2 months until the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Like, because this is quite scary.
Yeah. It's a lot of fear.
It's a lot of fear. And well, even to like get more into the specifics, my diagnosis was what they would call this triple negative breast cancer. So it's like a rare form. There's no hormone positive treatment for that, only chemo.
Right.
And usually, like, they also cut your breasts off, that they wanted to do, and I didn't go with that. I think it was maybe like almost 2 years after the diagnosis. And, I had ordered all the books from Amazon, like, all of the material. I became like, this geek.
Library.
Absolutely. And I just remember asking like, okay, I know this, but I want to like meet someone who has the whole picture. I want to talk to someone because, Irene, sometimes we need to hear some positive feedback from someone before we start believing more in ourselves.
Yeah.
We need that.
That reinforcement.
Yeah. So like 5 days later, I see there's this Facebook event happening, one psycho-oncology guy from Ukraine coming to Tallinn. I remember sitting in the first row, bawling my eyes out, because he was saying everything that I already knew.
Right.
The first person who put it all together as a big picture.
Yeah.
And so I started working with him. I actually like found out that, you know, stress, oxidative stress,
Yes.
what it does to your genes.
Yes.
It was stress.
Yes.
Prolonged stress, chronic stress.
Toxic. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So when you went into SmartBody SmartMind earlier this year, what were your intentions? Like, were you excited? Were you a little nervous? Tell me where your mind and body was when you went in.
Okay, so I'm gonna be completely honest over here.
Yes.
Like, I knew that I have to do this work, but there was a lot of, I would say this, you know, like this, so the resistance is this for me. You are so afraid of the outcome because in your mind, you might think that you're a failure.
Right.
So you are afraid of the emotions over there. You don't have this capacity inside of you to stay with the emotions.
Mm-hmm.
No regulation.
Mm-hmm.
So one part of you knows I'm going to do that. Other part is like super scared. I'm, you know. So I literally had to like, you know, start with baby steps.
Yep.
And when I started the training, I remember the first thing, orienting.
Mm-hmm.
I sit down, my feet on the ground, I orient around, and I sense my body. And when you told me, sense your body, I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
And I think I was there for some time like that. Because no one ever told me, look around. Where are you?
Yes.
How do you feel over here? Okay. Yeah. You know, even right now, when I'm saying this, I can feel this life force energy like supporting me on the ground.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's monumental when that question, it seems so simple, isn't it?
I know. Yeah.
What would be one of the biggest takeaways for you after doing SmartBody, SmartMind, and even now, because it's the work doesn't just end?
So the biggest takeaway I'm gonna, you know, take with me from this course is making this my lifestyle. If I commit to this and I make this my lifestyle, I know that, you know, this is something I have been missing all my life.
That's beautifully put. One of the things that I'll ask is sometimes people are hesitant or skeptical about SmartBody, SmartMind because it is online and you aren't doing one-on-one therapy like this with someone. It's self-study, you're solo in your own home. How was that for you? And was there ever an issue with doing the work in that way as opposed to being in a group or with a therapist?
Well, but at the same time, you know, we have a group.
Yes.
You know, we have this Facebook chat, and I was so lucky because I had another girl from Estonia. Was doing this course.
Okay.
And we were communicating, you know, how was it for you? What was coming up? You know, I did this exercise right now, so we could share.
Beautiful. I would say resistance is one of the biggest forces that stops people from doing the work. And from what I know, and now you know, it's also part of our survival mechanisms to stay safe. So tell me a little bit more about how you worked with the resistance, and even for those listening who are maybe saying, I know that I'm not going to be able to do this because my resistance is just so big.
Okay. So I really like how you also say in the beginning of the program, like really honor your own, you know, capability of following the program. So I remember when you said sometimes people, you know, they commit and then, you know, the next time they are going to do this exercise is going to be, I don't know, maybe in 6 months or something. Because sometimes it takes for that time for, you know, some people, and that's okay. That's okay. Because for me also, like I started and then I had a pause. And you know what? Then I saw how it is without the exercises. Because for me, the change happened quite quickly. You know, remember when I told you the first exercise orienting, and I was there.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a huge change.
Like my body knew.
Yeah.
And then life happened, other things happened around me. I didn't commit, you know, and I didn't like, you know, follow through the next months, basically the next months. But I saw, you know, that this one thing I had while orienting, I'm missing this. I'm missing this. And so I started just, telling myself slowly that, okay, you need it. You need it. Trust yourself. And I really went really slow. I think it's okay to be afraid of resistance. It's okay to be afraid of these feelings, emotions. But at the same time, I would say this, that this chance and opportunity, because, it starts with this, okay? Give yourself this chance.
Thank you. Knowing what you know now, and knowing that there are others who have maybe been on your path, have similar, we all have very similar stories of survival and trauma and fear and illness, perhaps chronic illness. What would you say to someone who's really on that fence, not sure if they should? You're beaming with energy and life force and regulation. You really are.
Thank you.
So beautiful. And so there's this element sometimes where people are like, oh, well, she looks so put together and so well spoken. There's no way that I could ever achieve that. What would you say to that one person who's thinking that right now?
Yeah. You know what? I still do the work every day. And I know I will probably do it the next couple of years. And no, I think, maybe the rest of my life, because I just, I love it so much. And well, of course, there are moments and days, when I wake up and I'm in a grumpy mood and, I don't want to get on the mat and, do this, for example, adrenals or kidneys exercise. Okay. But it's just for a moment. But this one moment is so important. It's just like, it's a moment when I was thinking like that. Okay, it's fine. That was a thought.
Yes.
But there are other possibilities, of other thoughts over here also.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
So I take a pause. I maybe go downstairs, have something to drink, do something different for a moment. And then, I go back and I see how I feel. And usually for me, this is where I'm, okay, let's do it. So a little like pause, notice what's happening inside of you, orient.
Yeah.
And then, let yourself feel whatever you're feeling. This is what it is,
Yeah.
And you feel so safe doing these exercises. You really do feel safe.
How would you describe the overall experience within the program and within the practical tools that we're being taught that aren't your typical awareness exercises? Does that make sense?
No, I understand, but here's the funny part.
Yeah.
Like, your body kind of knows it. I mean, it's like, when I did the exercise, I laid another 5 or 10 minutes on the mat because, my body just wanted to start doing like this really slow, different movements, like also like, with the baby rolling.
Yeah.
But a little bit different, I would say, even like more on one side and just like, or just with the curiosity, like, seeing, oh, what can I do over here? How can I move? And so I would say my body knew. My body just knew. But also I gave it a chance.
Yes, you did. It sounds like you gave a lot of patience. You committed. You waited.
I have shared so many positive things over here, and I want to say something different, but it's also positive.
Okay.
For example, I also had experience that lasted for, I would say, a couple of days, like doing this one exercise, and after that just feeling really sad. Usually when I felt sad, I would go and do something. Right. So I would forget about the feeling.
Turn away from it. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And oh my God, if someone else sees me sad. No, but I literally told myself it's okay. So I was sad for a couple of days, and then I was walking around. I think it was the third day. I was walking outside, and suddenly I feel like an impulse inside of me. Go lay on the mat in your room now. Go lay down there. And I cried. Then it came, the tears came.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was because of the exercises. I felt, I can listen to my own body. I can stay with the emotion of sadness over here. And when my body is ready to release it, it will release it. And this is what happened. So I want to say that sometimes you do an exercise, you will feel a little bit off, in a way.
Yep.
But that's not a bad thing.
No.
It's, yeah.
Cool. Thank you. That's so important, because so often we're told that it's all about happiness and joy and, and those are all really important, but we forget, as you learned, and hopefully all of you listening are learning, we store these emotions in because it's not safe to show them when we're young.
Of course, I'm going to say this, this cancer diagnosis is kind of scary thing to get,
Of course.
And if that will not change your life around, I don't know what will, in a way,
Mm-hmm.
But there's this, I just remembered this interesting moment on my healing journey. And it was, I think, the first 6 months after the diagnosis. I was doing everything, choosing, eating right, supplements, and everything, but still like super stressed out and having like this emotional breakdown. So I sat down in the apartment and I suddenly had a feeling like I need to put my hands on my body. I need to support my body right now in a different way with my hands. I also put my hand on my breast and a lot of grief came out from there. And I think this is when I knew, I would say now, first thing I said, I heard your voice on YouTube.
Yes.
But I think now looking back, this was something that told me, hey, why don't you like tune into your body now slowly, okay?
Yes. Good. Little hints were there.
Little hints were there because, when something is hurting, something is achy, or it's scary, the last thing you want to do is stay here in your body. Why should I, right? Like, come on. No. But on that specific moment, this is what I felt. That I need to, stay in my body and like, attune to my body now.
Yeah, that's brave, courage, and so curious. You had that curiosity early, so that I think was so important.
Irene, like I said, I'm right now in between, what is going to be my life now from here on. And something happened to me when I started healing myself. When I see other people, it's almost like I can see their inner child.
Yeah.
So talking to them now is like a completely different experience for me. I also went to the hospitals. So my plan was actually to go and see the patients, cancer patients over there, to, talk to them.
Yeah.
Because I felt like it's something that I needed to do. So I was talking to them and they were already like, in bed. They were like in such bad, shape. But every one of them had a story to share. A story they would never tell anybody.
Right.
Over here.
Yeah.
No one knows.
Yeah.
And it's also the same like I had, like previous years before the diagnosis, something was telling me, hey, something, like some, signs.
Yeah.
All of them had the same stories, but they will not tell the stories to the doctors, to the therapists, no. And
Secret.
then,
it stays inside.
But what I understood also, I was like, okay, it's a secret. But what if there's a way of making this the key point of healing at one point for them?
Yeah.
Yeah. This might, make them feel differently or start thinking differently.
Yeah.
And that was quite like amazing to witness that.
That's so interesting. The expression. I'm curious, were most of the patients younger or older, or was it a variety?
They were older.
Yeah. You're young, right? So there's that generation kind of post even 55, 60. they just weren't brought up with what you and me and the younger, you know, so it's just kind of this, it's almost too hard for them to understand that that would be important to share these dark things, because you just kept it, you know, like your grandmother, you didn't know the story. It was secret. I'm excited because there's so much changing with people being open about talking about these things. Anyways, there's a lot of potential.
I just wish that, you know, well, my biggest wish is this: there will be some kind of I would say a person to help them. Because you see what I have done right now with you, with your program, and I don't know, I think this information should be accessible for them. It should be. I think it should be part of their healing, like a big part of their healing. I actually started like experiencing myself as a whole being, you know, not like so much like fragmented anymore, but like whole. And if you see like this wellness industry, therapy industry, what they do, like the shadow side, you're broken, you need fixing, okay? So, but then you are whole. You have two pieces, broken, fixing, whole. It's so much different of doing the work from here or going from here. And I think this training gave me that, going from here as a whole being. The energy is different over here.
It's true. It's and as you know, in the training in SBSM, I'm not asking people to write down all their traumas and try to release the stress. It's building the body back into more capacity and making it more foundational. And that was
missing for me. No one told me that, you know? You can start from there.